Good morning students, welcome back to Java Practicals. In today's class, I'll explain you the practical part, practical number 9, 16, 17 and 18. So first we'll complete our practical part 16, practical question 16. So 16 actually the question is write a program that reads two integers. Means you need to take two integer values at runtime. Write a program that reads two integers numbers for the variables a and b. So whatever values you are taking at runtime, first values should be stored in a, second value should be stored in b. If any other character except the number, means at runtime if you are giving a value other than a numeric, like if you give 0 to 9, the values will be stored in a and b. But other than a 0 to 9, if you are giving any values like a character A, B, C, D, then the error should be caught by number format exception object. After that, ex.get message prints the information about the error. So according to this program, first you should give two values at runtime. First value is stored in A, second value is stored in B. After actually whatever values you are taking at runtime, that value should be numeric. Numeric means that value should be between 0 to 9 only. So other than 0 to 9, if you are passing any mismatched data type like a character, string, then error should be thrown to the user. Okay, so in order to throw that error to the user, here what class we are using? Number format exception. Number format exception is an exception type. Ex is an object. So whatever error is there, that information is stored in ex, and that error should be thrown to the user. That error message should be given to the user by using a get message function. So actually that is a program. Now you see here, first line is import java.io. Here it is a package. IO is a input and output package. So in this program, we are taking two input values at runtime. A value, B value, I am not assigning in the program. That two values I am taking at runtime. So when you are taking values at runtime, it is a condition that you should include import java.io package. It provides different classes which helps the programmer to collect value, which helps the programmer to give values at runtime. Now, the next line, public class exception handle. Here public is access specifier, class is a keyword, exception handle is a name of the class. You can give any name. So whatever name you are giving here, with the same name you should save the file. Now here, according to the Java programming structure, after the name of the class you should give the opening brace. Next, public static void main. It is the main method. Your program execution start from this main method. And here string args. String args is nothing but it is a argument. Your args is nothing but the arguments, whatever values you are giving at runtime. That values are by default considered as a string. Okay, so when you are passing values through at runtime, by default that are considered as a string values, and whatever values you are giving that are stored in a args array. And here we are writing a program to handle the exception, so you need to write this throw exception. Now as already explained in the class, from whichever code you are expecting an error, that code should be written inside the try block. Okay, so try block contains the code from which we are expecting an error. And here how many variables, according to your program, how many variables you should take? Two variables, and the two variables should be of integer data type. So in the question clearly they have given, write a program that reads two integer numbers for the variables a and b. So it is a condition that you should give two values, and the two values should be of integers. So that is why here I have given int a and b. Two variables, a, b is a two variable, and the two variables are of integers. Now, so if you want to take values at runtime, here you need to include IO classes, either buffer or scanner. So here I am using a buffer class, buffer, and I am creating an object, new buffer reader, new input stream reader system.in. So this line helps the programmer to collect input values at runtime. Okay, new input stream reader means whatever values you're taking from a user, that should be stored in here. Now A is a integer dot parse int. See, whatever values, as I already said, from the command prompt, whatever values you will collect that are in a string format, so that should be converted into a integer by using a integer dot parse int. Parse int. Parse is a function which converts one data type into another data type. So here parse int. So whatever you are giving at a runtime here, read line. Here in is a buffer. Okay, buffer object. And the read line is a method of that buffer class. So whatever values you are giving at runtime, that should be read and stored in, and whatever value is there in that object, that should be converted into the integer by using parse int. Okay. Now, after converting, that value should be stored in A. Next, for same here B also, whatever value you are giving at runtime for a B, that should be read by using a read line method, and next that should be stored in a B. Now whatever values you have given at runtime, okay, whatever values you are given at runtime, that should be stored, that should be converted into the integers, and that should be stored in A and B. Now you need to check whatever values you have given for A and B. Okay, that should be integer. That should be integer. And if whatever values you are giving, if it is other than integer, the error should be called. Okay, so if it is an other than integer, error should be thrown to the user that it is not a numeric value. And what type of error it is? Number format exception. The number format exception object is EX. So EX dot get message means, so if any error is there in EX, that should be thrown to the user, and get message is nothing but here is not a numeric value. Okay, here whatever you will write, that will be displayed on the screen. Now you see file here instead of the string, this you give after args. Now file, save as, what is the file name here? Exception handle. First I'll copy this, copy file, save as. Here you can paste exception handle. Exception handle dot java. Okay, now it should be all files same. It's already there, so I'm using the same thing. Yes. Now come to the command prompt here. First I'm making it as a clear. I will open the command prompt. Command prompt, select the command prompt. My file is in D drive. Come to the D drive. And what is the file name? Java C exception handle dot java. See, no error. Now after compilation, no error. We execute it. Java exception handle. See, here you need to give a values. Example 10. Second value, instead of the numeric, I am giving a k. See here, for input string, k is not a numeric value. For input string, k is not a numeric value. Now here you can observe, if I'll give only two numeric values, it won't give any error. Here you see Java exception handle. Here I will give 10, 20, See here it is not giving any error if you are passing only numeric value. So this is your program number 16, where we are taking two input values from a user A and B, and if the user is giving only integer values, it will accept. Other than integer, if the user is giving any other data type error, other format values, it will throw an error. Okay, so this is a program number 16. Now I'll explain program number 17, string operations. Okay. Number 17. So in 17th program, write a program for the following string operations. So 17th program is completely based on string operations. Already this theory part we completed in the class. String joining, string concatenation, and this program also we completed in the lab. Still again I am sending string related function, 3 functions. One is the compare two strings, concatenate two strings, and compute the length of a string. Okay, so 3 functions you need to implement in a single program. See here, class name is a string. You can give any name, it is a user identifier. Next is the main method. Next here I am creating a string. String name of the string is a greet, and what value I am storing, hello world I am storing. Next, whatever string I have given, that string I am printing, it is optional. Okay, whatever string I have given, that I am printing. System.out.println string. What is the string here? Greet. In the greet, what I have stored? Hello world. Okay, now here you see the next one, int length. So your third C bit is calculate length of a string, means how many characters are there in the string you need to find out. So in order to find the length of the string, in Java we have one built-in function that is called as the length from string. Okay, so length is a function is used to calculate length of the string. Now whatever length is calculated, that I am printing here, length. Now the next one you see, string first. One more variable I am declaring. What is the name of the variable? First. And what is the value of that string? Java programming. Now the second string, Java programming. Third string, Python programming. You can give any values here. Actually with this code I am comparing one string with another string, means whether the two strings are equal or not. For that purpose I am writing a code. So that is why two same strings, and third one is the another string I am declaring here. Now compare the first and the second string. Here I am comparing first with the second one. You see, compare the first and second string. So whatever result you will get, either true or false. So that is why here I am giving result one data type as a boolean. So boolean means here you will get a result as either true or false. You see, first dot equals second. So your second string is compared with the first one. Now the same thing I am printing here. System.out.println strings first and second are equal. If it is equal, you will get equal, else you will get false. Now the second one, boolean result 2 first with the third one. I am comparing Java programming with Python programming. Okay, now what message you will get here? String first and third are equal if it is equal. Now next you see, string S1 hello. Now S1 equals to S1 dot concatenate how are you. Hello, how are you? Means I am joining two strings. So in order to join two strings, here what function we are using? Concatenate function we are using. Okay. Now whatever result is that I am printing on the screen. Now file save. This file is already saved. Now come to the command prompt. Here Java C string dot Java file name string. Now next for execution, for interpretation, string. See, you can compare this with the code here. What is the first one? Hello world, right? So hello world, and system.out.println, just I am printing that. So the first output is hello world. Now you see the next one, what you are printing next, system.out.println length. What is the length of that string? See here, hello world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The total 12 characters are there in the string, including the space. So 12 you are getting as a length of the string. Next, you are comparing first string with the second string. So you see, string first and second are equal. Both are equal. Why? Because here the both are Java programming only. So same as it is, I have given second string. So that is why you are getting the true. Now you see the next one, first string and third string I compared. So first string is a Java programming, third string is a Python programming. So both the strings are not equal. So you are getting a message that strings first and third are equal. This is a false because both are not equal. Now the next one, S1 equals to hello. One more string, and this code is for concatenating two strings. Now S1 equals to S1 dot concatenate how are you. So how are you is added at the end of the hello. So you can see this output, hello, how are you. Okay, so how are you is added at the end of the hello. This code is for a concatenation, and this code is for a comparing, and this code is for a finding the length of the string. So according to your programming question number 17, A, B, C, 3 bits are there. One is for comparing two strings, and B bit for a concatenate two strings, and C bit for a compute length of a string. So 3 A, B, C, 3 bits I have written in the same program. So this is your program number 17. Now I will explain one more program, that is the program number 18, where actually what is the program number 18 is, create a class called fraction that can be used to represent the ratio of two integers. Ratio means you need to divide. Include appropriate constructor and methods. If the denominator becomes 0, if the denominator is 0, then throw an error. Okay, throw an error, throw and handle an exception. For this, I'll show you the code now. So this is your program number 18. See here, I am taking a IO package. Next, here you can see class name is exAppven, public static void main. It is your main method. And this is for taking values at runtime. Here A equals to 5, B equals to 0. And from whichever code you are expecting an error, that code we are including inside the try block. So in the try block, you see system.out.println A by B. I am dividing A5 to 0. And here you will get an error. Why? Because B value is 0. If the denominator is 0, error should be thrown and that should be handled properly. This program already I explained in the class. Still again I am explaining. System.out. See if there is an error. What type of error it should be? Arithmetic exception. See, arithmetic class already have explained exception class in the class. Means if you are dividing any number with the 0, what type of error should be thrown? It is nothing but it is a, what type of error it is? It is a arithmetic exception. So your denominator is 0, so error should be thrown, and what type of error it is? Arithmetic exception. And where that error information is stored? In E. Now you see exception and system.out.println. If it is an arithmetic exception, what error should be thrown to the user? It is a divide by 0. Operation cannot be possible. Okay, this type of error should be thrown to the user. Okay. Now here what is the file name? Ex. File save as here ex.java. Okay. Now it should be all files save. Now come to the command prompt. Here you give the file name as javac ex.java. No errors. You can execute this java ex. Divided by 0. Operation cannot be possible. Okay. Now here we'll do one thing. Here 15 will give, 5 will give. File save, come to the command prompt, compile it, execute it. You are getting a 3. So when you will get an error, when there is a denominator is 0, then only you will get an error. If the denominator is not 0, you won't get any error. So again I am changing your programming according to the question. File, save, compile, execute. Right. So this is your program number 18. Now one more program I will explain. Program number 9 I will explain now. Program number 9 is a write a program in Java to input n numbers in an array. So what you have to give is, you should take n numbers like 1000 number, 500 numbers from a user in an array. That means you take an array with the 500 elements or 300 elements and print out the Armstrong numbers from the same. See example, I have given some 100 numbers. From that 100 numbers, you need to print the Armstrong number. See what is an Armstrong number? See example, if I'll give 123. 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube. First you need to calculate 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, and if you'll add all the cubes, you will get the number 123. Okay, means example, if I'll give 153, 1 cube equals to 1, 5 cube is a 25, not 25, 125 something, and 3 cube is a 27. So when you will add, again you will get 153. So that is called as a Armstrong number. Okay, see example, I have given one number 153. In that number, how many numbers are there? 1 is there, 5 is there, 3 is there. For each and every number, you need to calculate the cube. Okay, and you need to add the cubes. When you will add the cubes, again you will get the same number. That is called as an Armstrong number. So here what you have to do is, you need to give the numbers, you need to create an array like 10 numbers, 20, 100, 200, whatever it may be. So that numbers, in that numbers, means it is an array, means it is more than one number. So you need to find out Armstrong numbers from that array. See example, I have given 200 students example. 200 students, from the 200 students, you need to find out Armstrong number student. So here I am giving the 20 numbers. From that 20 numbers, you need to find out what are the Armstrong numbers in that 20 numbers. So that is the question actually here. Okay. So here you see java.util scanner class I am using. Okay, here because it is an array. It is an array means if you are taking more than one value, series of values at runtime, you can use a scanner class. Okay, so what is the class name here? Armstrong series. Okay, series means more than, from the series we are finding a Armstrong number. Now this is a main method. Now come to the n is a variable, means whatever values you are taking. Example, the biggest, I want Armstrong numbers between a 0 to 100. So n equals to is 100, or we can say that n is a range, the biggest number. Now I is a starting value. So I want Armstrong numbers between a 0 to 100. So I value is a 0, n value is a 100. And your scanner is a class. When you are dealing with an array and you are taking array values at runtime, maximum will use a scanner class only. So it is an object. Scanner equals to new scanner system.in. Now enter a number. I will give the number, and next n equals to scanner dot next to float here. See whatever values you are giving, that may be a float also. Okay. Now next system.out.println Armstrong numbers between a 0 to n. Here what is n here, whatever value you have given, and I want this numbers from 0 to n. Here whatever n value you have given, that is converted into the float, or you can give, if you want integer, you can give integer also. Now as I already said, I want Armstrong numbers between 0 to n. Okay, so if is Armstrong I is a user defined function. See, already I explained functions in the program. The same code, same block of code you can execute number of times. So here is Armstrong number is a user defined function. So when control comes to this is Armstrong number, no, directly it will jump to the Armstrong block. So it will comes to the Armstrong block, and whatever number you have given, that is nothing but the num. Here num equals to n. I think you all know how to pass arguments to the function. So when you are calling a function, here it is nothing but it is a calling a function. So at that time we are passing a value. So here I equals to what? 0. 0 means here num equals to 0. Right. So here if you give n equals to 100, no, the same function will be executed 100 times. Now sum equals to 0, r comma temp. Temp equals to number. So this variables later I will explain. Temp equals to number. So whatever number you have given, that is not equals to 0. Whatever I value you are passing, no, that should not. If it is not equals to 0, then what we are doing? First we are calculating the remainder. Okay, remainder we are calculating. Next 10 percentile equals to 10. So here temp equals to the number percentile 10 means here we are calculating the remainder, and that remainder we are we are finding the cube of the remainder. See example, if I have given 153, first we are calculating the remainder means it is a r. Okay, r means 153 means the remainder is a 3 cube. First we are calculating. Next the number temp by n means it is a division. So here the temp equals to 15 unit, because if it is a division we will take only the quotient. If it is a remainder, if it is a percentile, then we will calculate the remainder. So here now temp means the number equals to 15. Again 15 not equals to 0. We will calculate the remainder. Again we will find the cube of that remainder. 5 cube you will get. Again temp equals to temp by means 15 by 10, 1 you will get. Again we will calculate the cube of the 1. So whatever number is generated, in that how many digits are there, for each and every digit we will calculate the cube and we will add that. For that purpose only here we are using the sum, and basic value here I am taking a 0, and here the basic value is 0. R is finding the remainder, and temporary we are calculating, because at last we will compare our temporary value with the number. See, if sum equals to number, here sum whatever is calculated, that one. If it is equals to number is nothing but whatever you have given. So if both are equal, that is an Armstrong number, else it is not an Armstrong. So here whatever number you are giving, and after calculating sum of cubes of a given number, if both are equal, whatever number you have given, whatever sum you got, if that two are equal, then that number is called as the Armstrong number. Otherwise it is not an Armstrong number. So here the last condition we are writing for that only. If sum equals to the number, whatever sum you got here, that we are comparing with the number. If the sum equals to number, both are equal, then it is called as the Armstrong number. Here sum is nothing but sum of cubes of a number, sum of cubes of digits in a given number, and this is the number what you are passing at the time of function calling. Okay, so then it is called as an Armstrong number, else it is not an Armstrong number. This is for one number. The same way you can call a same function number of times here. Now I am saving this as a Armstrong, since already I saved. Save. Come to the command prompt. Just a minute. You can see the execution. I am copying this. Java C is compiling. Dot Java. No errors. Enter a number. Example, I want Armstrong numbers between 0 to 300 or 200. Your wish you can give. So 0153 is a 153 is an Armstrong number. See, you can check. 1 cube is a 1, 5 cube is 125 and 3 cube is 27. So when you add this, you will get 153. So total how many numbers are there in 153? 1, 5, 3. So if you'll calculate 1 cube, 5 cube and 3 cube and you are adding that 3, you will get 153 again. See, I will give 400 now. We'll see how many numbers you will get. See, 370. See, 3 cubes you calculate 9. 7 cubes you calculate, and 3 cube you calculate, 7 cube you calculate, 1 cube you calculate, and you add the sum. You add that 3 cubes, you will get 371 again. So this is called as a Armstrong number. So here actually according to our program, whatever number I have given, actually I want cubes from 0 to 400. You can see 0 to 400. This 400 is nothing but the n. Here from 0 I want 400. So whatever Armstrong numbers there between 0 to 400, that will be displayed here. Okay. So this is our practical part today. The remaining programs I will explain in the next class.